a do. At least, me know what you try for do. You see, you do an interview for Barclays Center. This was a Barclays Center interview. CJ Milan did an interview for Barclays Center. And both of you have shot one and shoot off a one. Vybz Kartel.
I just see a video with Fambo a while ago, like him there on a stage and a hail Beenie Man. And Beenie Man basically walk off a stage and flash him off.
Bulldoze your house. I feel your pain. Because you see the Prime Minister, him have to lift up off of some house. And him have to give you. And when him put him plaque on the house, then when him have to give you back. Rip it off when you're done, because if them not give you back house, Tova can't win down there. Right now, anywhere should there be a twep.
Bless up my people and welcome back to the Daily Scoop. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on the notification bell and select all because we have another packed entertainment and current affairs discussion for you today. There is a lot happening and we are going to take our time and break everything down. Our biggest story today is around Massica and an interview that has generated plenty of conversation among dancehall fans. But one particular part of the conversation has people talking heavily. Massica explanation for why he took issue with Kartel apparent support for Tamil Lead sprouted during the conflict involving Massica. Then there is another question. When Massica spoke about being ready for another clash, was he indirectly sending a message to Alkaline? We are also going to be talking about the criticism coming from people defending Vybz Kartel, including comments about Bounty Killer, Tamil, and whether Massica took Kartel's social media activity too personal. And after that, we are going to shift away from entertainment and look at the discussion surrounding residents in Trelawny, comments attributed to Attorney Buchanan, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, and a response from Mr. Vegas concerning crime, policing, and government responsibility. Let's get straight into it. One of the most interesting part of Massica's interview was his response to the criticism that has his song sound too similar. That criticism has followed him for quite some time, and sometimes listeners have argued that Massica sometimes use similar flows, rhythm, or approaches across different songs. But Massica pushed back strongly against that assessment. His argument was essentially that somebody who actually listened to his catalog carefully would recognize that his music contains variety, and Massica went even further. He expressed the belief in his consistency is part of the reason some people struggle to give him the credit he believes he deserves. According to Massica, he has been able to find successful records year after year throughout his career, and he views music as something that comes naturally to him. That is an interesting statement because consistency is one of the hardest things to maintain in music. An artist can have one huge record, then the next year nothing happens. Another artist can have a successful album but struggle to follow it. Another artist can be extremely popular for 2 or 3 years and then disappear from the conversation. And there is certainly a case to be made that his career has remained active over an extended period, and he has continued releasing music, performing, collaborating, and developing his international profile. But the question is whether consistency automatically means an artist is receiving the level of recognition that they deserve. That is where opinion will differ. Some fans believe Massica is one of the strongest lyricists of his generation. Others believe he still has more to prove before he can be placed among dancehall elites. And that is normal because music is subjective. What one person calls brilliance, another person might consider repetitive. What one person calls consistency, another person might call it playing it safe. The important thing is that Massica clearly believes strongly in his own abilities. Another major point from the interview was Masicka's belief that the public is finally recognizing his talent. He suggests that earlier in his career, people did not always give him the level of respect that he deserved. But now, particularly after projects such as Generation of Kings, he feels the situation has changed. And that title is significant because when an artist reaches a stage where they feel completely comfortable with their identity, their confidence usually become more visible. Massica said he has become more expressive, he is more active, he is more willing to show his personality, and he is more visible to social media. He even acknowledged that some of the earlier lack of recognition could have been partly his own doing because he was more reserved. That actually is an interesting admission. Sometimes an artist can have the talent but not necessarily have the personality or marketing strategy needed to keep themselves at the center of public attention. The modern music business is not only about making good music, artists also have to communicate. They have to promote themselves, they have to engage their audience, they have to understand social media, they have to create moments, and Massica appeared to recognize that no. So perhaps what we are seeing is not simply a more confident Massica, we are seeing an artist who understands the business side of entertainment more clearly. Now we have to talk about the criticism. Some people have described Massicka as disloyal because of his evolution away from the Gaza Association and because of his conflict with people connected to that movement. But calling someone a cynic is a strong accusation. And before making a judgment like that, we should understand the history. Massicka built his career through different phases. There was a time when his music and image were strongly associated with the Gaza audience. There were fans who supported him because of that connection, but eventually Massicka developed his own identity. That is something artists are allowed to do. Popcorn also evolved beyond his earlier affiliation with Gaza. Many artists who started in one environment eventually become independent brands, and that is a part of the natural development of an artist. The problem happens when fans believe the artist owes them permanent loyalty because they supported them during an earlier stage. Fans can feel emotionally attached to an artist, but artists still have the right to grow. So I don't think we should automatically call Massicka disloyal simply because his career evolved. At the same time, fans are allowed to feel disappointed if they believe an artist handles certain relationship badly. Both things can be true. Another major name brought up into the debate is Bounty Killer. Bounty Killer has played an important role in dancehall for decades. His influence reaches across multiple generations. He has supported numerous younger artists at different stages of their career. And because of his connection to the culture, people pay attention whenever his name becomes involved in a debate. The discussion here centers around whether Bounty Killer supported Massicka during certain moments and whether that support should have extended to Massicka major Barclays Center performance. But let's be fair, an artist or veteran does not automatically owe another artist an appearance, but Bounty Killer can choose whether he wants to perform. Massicka can put on a show without him, and fans can still have their own opinion about what they wanted to see. If somebody expected Bounty Killer to appear and he didn't, that's one thing, but we shouldn't turn that expectation into an obligation. The Barclays Center performance belongs to Massicka and his team. If they deliver a great show, that's what ultimately matters. Now we are moving into a completely different topic. We are talking about residents in Trelawny, the controversy surrounding the demolition of homes. This is a serious issue because when people's homes are affected, we are no longer dealing with entertainment. We are talking about people's lives. Attorney Isaac Buchanan publicly expressed strong criticism and sympathy for residents affected by the demolition. His message focused heavily on the need for government responsibility and proper treatment of citizens. He also directed his criticism toward the administration led by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. The broader issue here is complicated. Property dispute, land ownership, government enforcement, planning laws, and people rights can all intersect. And when a house is demolished, the consequences can be devastating for the people living there. At the same time, any discussion about property rights need to recognize that law exists for a reason. The question becomes whether those laws were properly applied, whether residents received appropriate notice and due process, and whether affected families were treated fairly. Those are questions that require facts and documentation. They cannot be settled simple by social media argument. As Buchanan commented, were forceful. He argued that people affected by the demolition deserved meaningful assistance and respect. He also spoke about constitutional rights and the responsibility of government. Now some people criticize his language and his approach. Others praise him for speaking on behalf of residents who they believe don't have enough power to defend themselves. This is where reasonable people can disagree. A lawyer can criticize the government, citizens can criticize the government can explain its position, but ultimately the facts have to come out. Who owns the land? What notice were issued? What law applied? What process was followed? Were residents given an opportunity to challenge the decision? Were the commitment made concerning alternative houses? Those questions matter much more than which side shouts the loudest online. Then we have Mr. Vegas, who entered the conversation from a different angle. His comment focused heavily on crime, violence, policing, and the security situation in Jamaica. He defended cooperation between citizens and security forces and argued that Jamaica cannot allow criminals to control communities. That part of the conversation deserves serious attention because regardless of political affiliation, crime is an issue that affects everybody. People deserve to feel safe in their homes. Children deserve to feel safe when they're traveling. Business deserve to operate without fear. At the same time, the fight against crime must respect the law. So if someone witness criminal activity, the appropriate response is to use lawful channels and cooperate with the authorities. Mr. Vegas also spoke about the relationship between politics and the police. This is another area where emotions can become extremely high because Jamaica has political division that go back to generation, but law enforcement cannot become simply another political weapon. So my people, that is where we are going to be leaving it for today. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the Daily Scoop. See you in the next one.